Hey YouTube, Tyrant here once again with another action figure review. Well, action figure retro look. This is for the big bad of the Resident Evil series, and this is the original Toybiz Resident Evil Tyrant. Now, I have the back of a box from one of the other line. So this one was the 8-inch Tyrant. He was sold as like a deluxe figure. Kind of similar to how the Alien Queen from the Kenner line was sold as a deluxe figure. This was the big bad guy. He had some cool features, one of which doesn't work too well anymore. The other one still does. But we'll just get him the old tape measure so you can see exactly how tall he is. Does he stand the actual 8 inches? He actually stands a little bit over the 8 inches from what I can see. Just maybe 8 and a quarter, 8.5, thereabouts. So he has he's kind of limited in posability, but we'll go through his action feature first. Now, my one has a bit of paint splotch on him. So if I just bring him closer, hopefully you should be able to see this. On the back of his back, there's this raised spot that you can push. So if you were to push this, hopefully it will work. You can see he has a gimmick similar to that of Mosquito, where this blood stuff will go into his chest and it should pump. So I can bring it back up. So he had a blood pumping action similar to that of Mosquito. So it was pretty cool. He also has another gimmick, but we'll go into that at the end of this. We'll go through his articulation. So even though it looks like his head can swivel, it can't. The head is just attached separately to the body, but because of this piece going down the front where his heart or whatever, it's basically a pumping heart on the front. Because of that, his head is permanently looking off to the side here, and he has this big massive claw hand, which is pretty cool. It is articulated, but it's quite floppy on mine due to age, and it's also part of his other action feature. He has a swivel on this hand, so this is more of a ball joint on this hand, swivel on the right. He has a single hinged elbow, which is similar to the rest of the figures in this lineup. He has a hip joint, a single jointed knee, and an articulating ankle, which is quite rare for figures of this age. These were made in 1998. So, and I think the video game was released a bit before that, so I could be wrong. But overall, it has some nice detailing. He even has these like extra bits that are, well, it's only the one that's glued onto his side. Unfortunately, on the top of the head of my one, it looks like he had a bit of splatter with some paint. I think he might have been in one of the areas when we were painting a room before, and he must have gotten a bit of paint splatter on him, unfortunately. So his other feature, which doesn't work too well anymore because it was overused, is he was supposed to have this arm swing. You can still use the actual gimmick, but he's supposed to have like an arm slash sort of thing. So if we can stand up one of the good guys, and go Chris here, if he'll stand for me. Good man, Chris. People want to see you fall over. Just get his legs into the right position. There we go, Chris is standing. So we'll get Tyrant. Okay, that just bopped him on the head. Try that once more. There we go. Ooh, that was a good smack. So Tyrant would do that kind of arm slash. In fact, if I remember in the video game, that was one of his main attacks. He would charge at you while kind of swinging his arm, so it would be kind of scraping off the floor and stuff like that. He'd be in this kind of crouch position, and he would charge at you with the arm and then sweep up kind of type thing. So they kind of tried to emulate that a bit. His hands are gummy enough that the claws aren't too sharp. Like you wouldn't really stab yourself too badly with them. There has been other iterations of this guy. NECA did one, and I think Moby Dick may have done one. I know Moby Dick did the Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, which was basically the perfected version of this guy. But as far as I know, the only other version of this guy that I know of, and it's one of my favorite figures, is the Palisades. Palisades? Is that how you pronounce it? They did a Resident Evil line as well. Now, the figures are kind of hit and miss in that line. Same with the NECA figures. The NECA figures are hit and miss for articulation. Sculpting wise, they are pretty good, but articulation wise, they're pretty limited. So they basically have the Palisades one is quite articulated. They actually went above and beyond with it. It's very similar to this in, you know, articulation cuts and points, but it has more articulation overall. And you can actually turn the head on the Palisades one, which you can't on this. It doesn't have the gimmick with the spring-loaded stuff or the blood feature. So you have that. But overall, I'm not sure if this guy's head is even in this frame, because he's kind of tall. But overall, he's pretty cool. We'll just stand him up next to some of the figures I've reviewed so far. I do have 2 other figure sets to review. Let's see if we can get the Cerberus here. All the creatures so far that I've reviewed. We have Jill. I'll put their parts together. So Jill and her spider friend, and Chris. We just straighten it. His arm, and hopefully he won't fall flat on him. Chris and his doggo friend. So far, I'm not sure if you can even get those into shot because he's so big. So far, I've reviewed 3 of the 5 sets. I still have to find the Hunter from the Hunter and Chimera 2-pack. If I can't find the Hunter, I'll probably just struggle on with the Chimera on his own, and then I have the zombie, the kind of main zombie, and well, it's called Maggot Zombie, the main zombie, and this Forest Spire 2-pack as well. So hope you enjoyed this quick video review. Now this one has been a bit quicker than the rest, but overall he is a cool figure. If you were to collect the whole line, I'm not sure how much that would set you back nowadays, but they are kind of getting harder and harder to get. You can find them loose, which isn't too bad, but depending on how good they are, like for their age, a lot of the joints and stuff are floppy and stuff. So like especially on my Chris, his arm tends to pop off. This knife piece is falling off him. It is a common piece that falls off. Accessory wise as well, if you're looking for them loose, they mightn't have all their accessories. Tyrant, again, you might have to see how good that arm swing, the mechanism is. If they're mint on card, you probably shouldn't have that issues with them, but overall they are a pretty cool figure set for their age. But again, it's for their age and depending on how much you want to spend on them. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick video review for Tyrant, and hopefully I'll get around to doing the other figures in this lineup, and we can get all the figures from Wave Series 1 done, and I'll start cracking out the videos for Series 2 if people are enjoying these. Cheers, guys.